Hi, welcome to Displacer Geeks. My name is Brian.
And I'm Hudson, and we're two geeks talking about the geek.
That's right. And today's topic is monsters. Well, creating your own monsters, specifically in D&D. So,
Sure.
Hudson, first off, we got a couple figures here that we like a lot. So, mine is this, I don't even remember what game it's from. I got it on clearance many years ago. Sat on my shelf for like, I don't know, 5 years. And then I decided to finally paint it. And I just love the way it looks. And I feel like it should have a monster character block. And same with the one that you got. You got that one at Gen Con this year, right?
I did. It's for a game, I think it's called Eternal. And it's a monster that does monster things. I don't know what it does.
Wonderful. Hey, that's okay. We're gonna make up what we think it would do in D&D. So, right now it just kind of looks like you have like this little crown type headdress on. So, with a moose face on one side. Why don't we do this? Because creativity is super fun. I love being a DM. I love creating my own monsters. I think you and I have kind of talked about this guy for several years now. So why don't we finally do it? First off, Hudson, what do you think we call this thing? I mean, it's got little skeletons carrying it. So Bone Golem King has a crown. I mean, it's kind of cool.
I mean, I don't hate it. So, but like that kind of brings, I like it the more I think about it, but it just kind of make it like it's a bone golem. So does it count for undead?
This guy screams undead, so I would vote yes. What do you think?
I would lean towards no, just to mess with the players.
Well, of course you would. Of course you
But
would.
hear me out. Okay, so there is a space for a creature such as a bone golem to exist, to look undead without being undead.
Without being
Because if you
undead.
look, yep. So if you look at the flesh golem, it's really not that far removed.
Oh, I hear you. Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
it
So,
would be a good kind of like, yeah, you tried that, but it didn't work.
hmm now looking at that thing too, don't you think it's like a boss fight? That's like a boss fight type creature, don't you think?
Should be.
Yeah, seems
Yeah,
like
should
it.
be.
It's
Yeah.
pretty big. And it's got little minions like as its legs. So
Mhm.
first off, things that pop into your head. Has to have at least two attacks. That seems to make sense. Slashing attacks. What do you think?
Yeah, yeah. Multi-attack. Chop.
Yeah. Um, it should be, I think, pretty easy to hit, but kind of hard to kill. What do you think?
I think there's a lot of ways to describe what armor class actually means, right?
Hmm.
When I look at this, I'm seeing a lot of bone and a lot of like metal.
Metal, chunky
Yeah.
metal.
So hit or hard to damage. So like when you hit it, maybe it does have a high AC. Like let's talk about
True.
that. Like let's like 17 or 18. It's not that the players are missing it. It's
Yeah.
just they're not landing effective blows.
Yeah. And with like even those two giant sword hands, I mean, think about you go in for the hit and it just swipes at your weapon. That
Yeah.
seems to make a lot of sense.
You got those guys. I imagine those guys like it moves like a crab too. Like it's like skitters like sideways real easy.
Yeah. I was kind of thinking like the movement wouldn't be great on this thing. Um,
No.
and then I was also trying to think of a mechanic to where you can, as you hack at it, maybe some of the guys like some of the little minions die off, but then he keeps resummoning minions to kind of keep growing back his legs. So maybe you can hit it for enough damage where it doesn't move for a turn, but then the little dudes come back and then he can move again, even though he can't move very fast. I kind of like the idea of that.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind giving it a speed of like 15 or 20, maybe.
Yep. No, yeah, I was thinking 10 to 15.
Yeah. But no, but like, I mean, you want it to get someplace eventually. So that's why I was like 15, 20.
So with that being said, a high AC and a lot of hit points maybe. So it just sit there as like a slow, like it's coming for you. And
Hmm.
then
Hmm.
I feel like we got some necromancy qualities here. So maybe as you're trying to fight it or going up to fight it, it's summoning a bunch of little skeleton minions all over the place to kind of tie up and attack you while it's slowly coming your way. And you know
Yep.
the thing's going to hit hard as heck when it gets to you.
Yep. So that would go back more towards the undead again that we had talked about initially, right?
Yeah.
So like if you were gonna make it an undead, like that 100% makes sense. The
Hmm.
golem, less so. But what might be fun, you see that little glowy bit. I'm pointing at it on your screen. It totally works on the podcast. But no, there's that yeah, like kind of like the yellow bit right there underneath the
Yep.
breastplate. You could make it like there's a thing that's called a shield guardian that has an ability called a spell story. Hey, hey,
A
hey,
spell
throw
what?
spell story, and you could toss a spell on that guy and then just have it like cast like a level 4 spell randomly.
I mean, that'd be
You
fun.
know, and then
Yeah.
you could to confuse the players more because you know we got a wizard out here doing gotchas, right? Uh, with to confuse the players more, have the spell summon undead.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, I like the idea of that.
Now, why doesn't the turn undead work on it? Why? But it's summoning undead. It looks undead.
Hmm.
Just give something for the players to do.
Yeah. Yeah. The slow walk to your doom kind of sort of thing, which I think would
Also,
actually add a lot of excitement when you're sitting there throwing little tiny skeletons. Because even if, let's just say this thing's like a CR4 or CR5, you could throw a ton of skeletons at people and make them use up some of their resources when they don't want to, or nickel and dime them a bit while you get that thing up to them.
you could just have the skeletons grapple the players.
Oh, totally. Yeah. Yeah, that'd
Like,
be super
let's
fun.
get away now when you're speed zero.
Yeah. Well, and I kind of like to think of like things that will help you defeat creatures easier or like their vulnerabilities. And one of the vulnerabilities I could see with this thing is if you do hit it, there's a chance you're going to break those little skellies, hold them up, and he'll sit there for a round, which is pretty huge. But
Yep.
to balance that out, especially if you have a group with a bunch of spell slingers and ranged combat, you got to have loads of skeletons popping up all over the place.
hmm Having the skeletons pop up like at their feet to have
Yeah,
them to deal with something immediately.
100%. Yeah,
Another thing you could do, I'm assuming that creature is like it would have to be large or even huge.
yeah, for
So
sure.
you put it in a hallway that's about only as wide as it is.
Ooh, that'd be fun too. Here, I know this is just a Warhammer miniature, but I don't have a D&D one by me right now, but you could see, and these guys are a
Yeah.
little big for D&D, I think, but
But even three, like I mean, like that's still like you have them that be that big, and then you just have them put them in a hallway. Then it's hard to get past them, right? Like hacking at you, like you have him like standing in front of the door at the end of this hallway where the players want to go, so they have to get past this thing, even though it's a slow creeping death.
yeah. And put a reward at the end of that hallway, treasure or whatever. Another thing, actually, we are talking about popping skeletons up. If you're talking a dungeon or a hallway, you could have some traps being set off too against the characters to
Oh,
keep
put some
them,
traps in
yes,
the hallway.
like
Uh,
mix it up big time. That would be very
yeah,
interesting. Yeah, no, that's fun. Okay, I gotta throw out this plug. So I did paint this. I mean, I only have like maybe 8 videos, but Snow Fight Studios on YouTube, I did paint this and I show you how I speed painted this. Check that out if you have a chance.
okay,
So it's a painting channel that I did for a short time, and I keep thinking I know I'll go back to it someday. But it's called Snow Fight Studios, and you can see me speed paint this thing and give you tips and stuff on how to paint and how to speed paint, and honestly how to have fun and not worry about everything looking so perfect and stuff. Which
yeah,
undead creatures are great for that. You don't want them to look all nice and clean.
yeah,
You want rusty swords and nasty
yeah,
stuff. Yeah, I think it's
yeah.
cool. Well,
Let's
anything else on this guy? Because I feel like he's pretty simplistic in that aspect, right? Just a slow,
yeah,
uh, two
yeah. I
big
think he
hits. Maybe you put in
um
some mechanic where it gets a third one every once in a while.
I would put like a wonky hit for the third one.
The double slash. That'd be
Uh
scary.
I mean, if you want to do something weird and fun, have it give it a bite attack or something for like 1d4. It just
Yeah,
I just looking at it, I think you're going to rely on the two big attacks. Spell storing can be really tough on the players depending on what the spell is. Because,
yeah,
like I suggested like summon undead, but fireball does a number.
yeah.
Does
You know what you could do too is that little chess piece glowy bit. You could just straight up have it be a dispel and give it a recharge of like 5 or 6. That'd be interesting.
counterspell?
Counterspell. Do
Yeah.
counterspell. Just nope. That'd be kind of fun.
There is an item that has a percentage chance to absorb a spell, and then you can use the spell later.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting too.
And that could be a reward for the players because the players would love that. You could
Oh
give
yeah,
that to the players,
yeah. That's
but make
true.
it, but don't make it like the standard textbook one. Like it absorbs like whatever spell.
Yeah, yeah. I think it'd be
It,
fun.
it absorbs any spell that it didn't cast. Your allies cast a spell. It's like, right.
Yeah. Yeah, the one in the book, when you find it, it has a handful. You like roll to see how many spells are in it already,
Yeah.
don't you?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I
Nice.
would tune it down. I wouldn't make it like as cool,
I,
but
I
it would be
agree.
fun.
I think he seems pretty fun with the way we built him, which isn't anything special, but that's
Mhm.
what's kind of cool about it too. He doesn't look like he'd be anything special, just kind of broody.
Yeah.
Fun, fun. All right. Creature number 2. You got to move
Oh,
your head for a bit on this one. It's a beaver, a moose, and a eagle bear. It's
goose. It's a
scary.
goose. It's a goose.
Oh, it's a goose? Is there a goose head in that thing?
Behind my head, it has a tail, like a chimera. At the end of it is the goose head.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Yeah.
So right away, you got to go 3 attacks on this thing every turn.
Uh, Even if you don't do three attacks, you're gonna have three different attacks.
Definitely 3 different attacks. And
Yeah.
I would say it's fun to make those pretty different so every attack round can be dynamic.
Yep.
Like maybe the goose spits out poison and the moose is just a big old bite. Beaver does some type of wound or like major wounding or something.
I think you give the goose attack like maybe less damage,
Yeah, I
but
think so.
give it reach of some sort, like a
Yeah.
15-foot reach, so like it can hit somebody that's a little bit further away.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's on the tail, right? Like
Yeah.
have it get out there. Um, I think for the beaver attack, I think the bite is the right call, but beavers are known for 9, so maybe like uh,
Gets into you and keeps biting. Some type of
yeah, some sort
grapple
of thing,
slash sustained
some,
biting.
something like that.
Pretty
And then the
wicked.
moose attack is like an antler charge attack.
Oh, okay. Well, actually, okay.
Yeah,
I like the idea of it having an antler charge attack as it's gonna that's how it comes in to get you. And then after that it just has a big old bite.
yep,
Just
big old
big
beaver bite.
damage.
And then obviously it's got the wings flying, or at least some sort of like weird gliding effect, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a nightmare waiting to happen. I mean, this is a
Mhm.
boss fight too, don't you think?
Yeah, mini boss, something like that. Yeah.
Or yeah, potentially a mini boss where you just know this thing's out in the wild and you just hope you don't run into it and then your party just might run into it.
I think this is the mad scientist slash necromancer.
Yeah, for sure. This has spirit skulls in it, has eyes. So this thing has to cause fear or attempt to cause fear for sure.
Yeah.
With the
Yeah.
eyes, you'd almost give it like where alertness where it can't get surprised, something like
Yeah,
that.
something like that. Maybe something weird like blind sense. Blind sense, like
Yeah,
not like a huge radius, but like 10 to 20 feet.
yeah.
Like you just can't sneak up on it because it's got so many eyes.
A lot of times I see a big eye on a creature. I always think like a big eye beam, but this doesn't scream eye beams to me at all. This
Mm-mm,
just screams
mm-mm.
creepy. So I like the idea of it being
Yeah.
able to cause fear or, like a vicious mockery type of thing where maybe the eye attacks do some psychic damage. Not a lot, but your next attack against it could be a disadvantage, which is pretty big.
You could have it do like a necromantic breath. Well, it would just be necromancy, but you would just use it like a breath weapon, and
Oh, I
then
hear
it's
you.
like you could just call it spirit breath or something, and it just like unleashes the soul, the tortured souls
That
of
would
the
be pretty cool.
right.
This would be kind of fun for me, I think. Have your three head attacks from the animals, but you only do
Hmm.
two, a random two, but then also have three different types of attacks from the skulls or the eyes, and you only have that go off once. So it does three attacks. Two of them
Hmm.
are based on the animals. One of them's based on all the creepy creep stuff.
Yeah,
I think that's fun.
yeah.
And I like all that dynamic stuff anyways, because then it keeps the players on their toes. It's just more interesting, I think, in combat. And yeah, it can get wild quick.
Did we make this give this thing like a legendary action?
It feels like it needs one.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you're making a monster, you of course have to keep in mind your players in that current campaign. You
Hmm.
can make a
Hmm. Hmm.
monster and have it set to the side, but you might have to adjust it for the campaign because, you might have three people in the campaign and two of them might be bards, so they're not really hitting a whole lot. Like, or you might have five or
Don't
six
discount bards. Well, some of the biggest hits I've ever seen have come from bards.
come from bards.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, if you have kind of some more lightweight characters for combat
Yeah.
compared to like a perfectly balanced, like five or six party
But
group that'll
even
just
just
annihilate everything.
yeah, but even just the standard like fighter, barbarian, paladin,
Yeah.
a cleric, an
Hmm.
arcane caster of some sort, and then the rogue, the straight up rogue.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
like that party composition, like that standardized party composition can handle a lot.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. For sure.
And they're gonna have a lot of solutions that like some other like other party compositions just aren't going to have.
Yeah.
And to kind of case in point was my friends were playing a warlock, a druid, and a wizard. Notice no thief, no cleric, right?
Yeah.
I definitely accidentally created scenarios where that mattered,
Oh, okay. Sure.
right? The wizard player was really smart and figured out how to heal as a wizard.
Speaking of healing, looking at this thing, when I see all weird twisted stuff like this, it's fun to come up with abilities like maybe one of the options that the spirit skull things or the eyes have is it makes it so you can't heal for the round or something. Like some
So
weird little cursey type stuff like that, which is pretty
yeah,
fun.
but I want to say that's a cantrip. Like that already
It
exists. Like that's not even like a far-fetched thing. You just say, does that cantrip?
be pretty fun.
I think that's an easy add.
Yeah.
You could also I do like a an aura, like if you're within a certain range of it, you it can't heal.
Ooh, that's brutal. Yeah, that'd be fun.
It would make the fight interesting.
Or an aura that also makes it so you have to make fear checks when you get close enough. Like this thing's so creepy that it
Mhm,
just is
mhm.
brutal to get close to it.
Just the frightened condition could be huge too, though, because
Yeah, can't move
you're
towards it.
can't move towards it. So even if you're in range of it, you're still at disadvantage to attack it.
Yeah,
And then if you're the necromancer controlling that, you're like, yeah, it's gonna fight you out in the wide open. Sure, you can see it, but you're gonna make that fear check. And if you don't pass that fear check, it's gonna be a hard fight for you because you can't
yeah,
like the only way for you not to look at it is to turn your back.
yeah. And those things too, even if you make your check, it doesn't mean you're going to make it every time. It's just something there to kind of keep the fight dynamic and keep people on their toes and keep them a little worried. And that stuff's cool. That stuff's really
Yeah.
cool.
Well, a lot of times they're a wisdom check, but like depending on how tough this monster is, like plenty of fighter will fail that check.
Another thing that you could do when you're talking super creepy things like this is make it be able to incite rage. So you can make the barbarian go into a rage if they don't want to, just boop, kind of mess with them a little bit there.
Better use of it would be incite, like you have to close with it, which the barbarian kind of like, so what, right? Like the barbarian's like, yeah, I want to do that anyway.
Yeah,
But the wizard,
it'd be crazy, wouldn't it? That, I mean, that's pretty brutal. That's crazy brutal.
yeah,
I mean,
the
I
wizard,
love
like
that stuff, but
I think there's like a
make anybody rage.
yeah. And then again, I don't think I would want to give fighters like barbarian rage or something, but just like compelling movement to go closer is kind of an interesting concept.
You're
You
drawn
have
to
to
it.
close. Yeah, you have to close with it. And if you're in melee, you have to take a melee attack.
Yes, that type of stuff is fun too. And that goes along with those like eyes or the spirits luring you in. Yeah. Yep. And then when you get close, it goes to Chowtown and eats your face.
You know what? It'd be fun. Just give a moose, just have a big old moose bite.
Yep, moose bite. That'll hurt.
It's gotta hurt so bad. I've seen
Oh,
so many people
yeah.
get bit by a horse. I'm like, I can't imagine a moose bite being.
Oh, it'd be horrible. It would be horrible.
Especially
Well,
if it was actually trying to hurt you, because usually the horse bites, they're not. I'm not saying they don't hurt, but like their intent isn't to do
rip your
like
skin off. It's just
rip your
telling you to
skin
get
off or
away from them.
something. Yeah, they're just basically they're nipping you and like I'm done. I'm over
Yeah.
you.
And this thing is gonna rip your skin off. That's what this
Yeah.
thing's gonna do for sure.
And also those dull herbivore teeth have gotta hurt.
Biting force has just got to be completely insane.
Also, that time already.
It is. Well, I think we had fun. I actually would like to do this more. I think this is super fun. And even just talking about monsters that are already existing would be a good thing to do. So,
Yeah.
well, hey, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. And don't forget when you're playing RPG and have fun.
Have a good night.